Well, let's get into it. Tell me about yourself, Eamon. Tell me about you.
Goodness me. Well, I grew up with a pretty rough background. I don't want to give you the whole sort of sob story about it and whatnot, but yeah, grew up with a bit of a rough background, just in housing. Both of my parents are mentally ill, both beautiful, lovely people, and they get through it pretty well. But that was quite a lot of a struggle. And goodness, I don't know, I went off the rails pretty hard.
Sorry, when you say mentally ill, what do you mean? If you don't mind me asking.
Mum and Dad are both schizophrenic, so both diagnosed schizophrenic and treated. So as a general synopsis, my mum is quite challenging. She's a beautiful soul, but she's quite challenging for a lot of reasons, a big trauma background and the mental illness. Yeah. But my dad has the same mental illness, but has a lot different approach to it, which has really opened my eyes a lot to mental illness in a lot of ways. He understands he's got it. He agrees that he's got it. He accepts that he's got an ailment, and he treats it, and he just gets through it, and you would never know that he's mentally ill at all. He's definitely had his moments through life, but nothing, terribly consistent so much. So he's got through life, and he's worked a full-time job his whole life, and he's a huge, huge inspiration to me, and always has been. He was the guy, he was the reason, I probably would have anyway, but I stuck around when I had a child at 17, so 18, I was just turning 18. I turned 18 a month after she was born. I remember when she was born, I was young, and I was still very, very off the rails at that point, let me tell you. But I remember having this thing inside me that was like, I'm not leaving for a second, not for a second, because my dad didn't leave me, and he never did. And so my mum and dad, to rewind it a little bit, my mum and dad broke up when I was 2, primarily because my mum's very challenging to, like I said, to deal with and be with. And they sort of broke up. But my dad stuck around as a dad every single night. Not romantically, not overly emotionally, not in a relationship sense, but more of a friend to my mum and a dad to me. And he was there every night of my whole life. And I remember when I got to about 18, I thought, shit, why is he still here? As in, I know he's still here, but he's still here every day, looking after me, looking after my mum. And he could have run away at any point. The second I turned 15, I moved out at 15 years old. I was living on my own. There was no reason then to look after my mum, and he still does, right? I'm just about to turn 30. And he still looks after my mum every other night. And he's got his own situations. He's not overly wealthy. He's got his own struggles. He's 71 and he's still just there. So big inspiration of my life, and a very hard-working man. He works 6 days a week. He's pretty much his whole life still, just about. So he's ticking along. And part of this space real estate was actually to hopefully fund his retirement, or his semi-retirement, because I'll never get him to full retirement, I don't think. But so he owns 5% of the business, and that was strategically done so that he can sell it out one day and be able to sort of retire and hopefully see how we go. But that's it. Mum sort of in and out of Northside a lot. We grew up in housing, and it was quite challenging. I was living with my mum full-time until 15, towards the end of it. She was in Northside, so if you viewers or whatever don't know, that's the mental ward at the hospital. And I remember I was at home on my own for a couple of weeks, which, believe it or not, wasn't odd to me. It was I'd done it lots of times, so I was home for 2 weeks straight, just at 15, and and in this housing, and I just had parties and drank and smoked. But anyway, I was visiting her at Northside after school one day, and a counsellor, I was still well off the rails, and she said, "Oh, do you want to grab some lunch?" I thought, "Yeah, absolutely, that's fine, that'll be great." We had a bit of a chat, and she sort of just asked a few questions, and I didn't think a lot of it really. I thought free lunch, bit of a chat.
Why not?
And she said, "Hey, look, there's this place called Tyne House which is being built, which was a semi-supported living support for troubled youth, basically. Tyne House in York Street." So anyway, she said, "I think you'd be a great candidate for it." In her words, she said, "I think you'd be better off living on your own than living with mum. I think you're struggling a lot with the stuff that comes with mum." I agreed. And that sort of was the start of that. And then I moved out, away I went. I later have come to realise that I never actually confirmed, but about 98% sure that was actually Child Protective Services, not a counsellor. Oh, so I'm pretty sure that Child Protective Services saw me coming in, realised I was at home alone. Mum was in Northside. I didn't really have dad. Dad was there, but not officially. So I think they were sort of like, what do we do with this kid? And that was the next best thing. And then the next 3 years was wasted. It was a big help and a big eye-opener, but I was too young, too naive, too off the rails still. I just partied and went down a pretty deep, dark hole. And then at about some time, my sister, is probably the last chapter of all of this. So my sister, who was taken off my mum when she was 4, she's 7 years older than me. She was taken off my mum when she was 4, and she lived with my auntie in Hobart. And what happened was she kept in touch with me. She kept really close to me from afar, even though she was in Hobart. She made sure she was there. Bearing in mind that she was taken off my mum 3 years before I was born. She made a really good life for herself, despite her own struggles and troubles, you can imagine, and stayed close to me and made sure that I was okay. She made sure I was all right from afar and made sure I had her. But the biggest thing that she did, I don't know if she was deliberately doing this or not, but she set an example, and she set an inspiration and something different that I'd seen. At about 16, 17, 2 major things happened for me. Firstly, I went and visited her, and I remember seeing she had this modern unit at the time. It was nothing crazy flash now that I've got a different perspective, but to me, I'd been living in this dirty housing trust house that Mum would smoke in every day, and it was messy and dirty and all this. And I saw this and I was like, oh my, like this is, wow. Look at the life that my sister, I was like, I remember I went back to my friends and I was like, oh, my sister's rich. I think she was just renting a nice place. I don't even know. But that was one big thing. I was like, oh, okay, I've seen shit and I've seen good, and I'm going to choose that. And that was like, okay. I'm going to do more, right? I'm going to live like this. And so that started me growing. The other big thing that happened was also my sister. And she called me up one day, and I spent a lot of time between the age of about 13 and 15, 16. Do you remember MySpace? When MySpace sort of started, that was about then. Facebook was just kicking off. And I got on there a lot, and I was, oh, poor me, I've got mentally ill parents. I've got a rough childhood. And people started giving a lot of sympathy. And I loved it. Because, I mean, deep down, I would say that that's very much because I was just looking for acceptance. There's a trauma response. But at that point, I just felt good about it. I was like, oh, this is awesome. I've got all these friends, right? All these people that want to be like... I became a bit infamous and stuff, and that's where I went down the hole. And I had all these mates that were drinking and smoking, and I got all these likes on MySpace and stuff and Facebook, and I thought it was so cool. My sister called me up somewhere around that age, and she said, Naaman, look, I'm going to give you the real truth. She was like, okay, you've got a reason to be upset or to feel sorry for yourself because you have gone through a lot of shit, right? But I'm going to be dead honest with you. No one gives a fuck. As in, they're going to tell you they do, right? And they might for a little bit, but I can tell you that they're not going to change anything. Ever, okay? All of the sympathy in the world is not going to change anything. So you've got a choice. You can either fix it and move on with your life or not. And just be the victim forever. And you got to make a choice in that. And she drilled that into me. I rebelled against that for a long time, but I eventually listened. And I think it's dead right. I think you should be sympathetic to people that are going through a lot. But I really think that the biggest amount of support that you can give someone struggling is to help them understand that it's up to them to change it. And that's pretty hard to do.
I think that's good. When I was at school, my teacher, bless you, I hope you see this one day, Mrs. Gracie, I wasn't necessarily drinking and things like that, but I was a class clown, joking. I love the attention because look at me, I'm funny. And we're in drama class, and I was meant to learn a script. So I didn't learn the script at all. And I went on the front of my peers thinking, I'm king. I'm there just reading it off. And she sat there, looked at me, we finished, the bell went and everyone left. And this was, I think it was towards the end of the term. And she pulled me aside, and I will never forget this conversation. She, pretty much the same as with your sister. David, you are funny. You can keep doing this. That's fine. There's perspective you have to look at. You disrespected your classmates in not memorizing because they put their time and effort into it. You can keep being the class clown all you want, or you can actually put in effort. You do have natural skill in acting and things people do like you. You can take this serious and get something out of it, or you can keep playing. If you're going to keep playing, don't come to the drama because I'm here to encourage, to teach. And I went away and had my holidays, and it resonated really deeply.
It's interesting.
She was not expecting to see me the next semester. She thought she scared me away, and I said, "No, you actually that was what I needed." Everyone looks at, we see the results, but we don't see the cause or what's happening.
Yeah, correct.
But you see me acting, you see this and stuff, but a lot of people don't step back and go, okay, why is that happening? We're so focused on the outside. So she saw that and saw the inside and said, I know you're a good kid.
It's opportunity as well. Like if you actually see something that makes you believe that you can be more, believe, that's the key word, actually believe that you can be more than where you're at, then you'll chase it. A lot of people don't, especially people I grew up with and other people that don't have the hope, like they don't believe that they could. Deep down inside, they don't ever talk about it. There's a lot of people that they're the way that they are because they feel like deep down inside they can't get anywhere else. And they don't even know it though, right?
No,
they don't even know that. It was like, it's showing me. If she can do it, she's been through a lot of shit. So I was like, if she can do that, I can do that. And it wasn't just money or anything like that.
No, it's just,
She is a nurse. She's been promoted more times than I can imagine. She's got 3 beautiful kids. She's got a beautiful husband, a beautiful family, a beautiful life. And on paper, like myself, people will be like, there's no way you'd get to that sort of point. And it's just, So you can change the narrative of your own life if you got opportunity.
What do you do for fun? What are your hobbies?
Oh, I got 2 kids. They're not so much hobbies, but
just parenting.
I play netball. I played basketball for about 5-6 years when I was younger, and I loved it. And then a good friend and ex-staff member came into work one day a few years back, and she said, "Oh, can you fill in netball? I've never watched a game of netball at all. I've got no idea how to play. I don't even know I had to go because A, she's my friend and she needed me, but B, because she's my staff member, and like I ask a lot of them, I'm going to do something for her." I was like, okay. So I went there, and 7 seconds before the game, I was taught how to play. And that was about 2 years ago now, and I'm still playing it. And I love it. Yeah, it's really
good.
So do that.
What's your favourite position?
I play centre. They put me on centre. Yeah.
You got to get the goals.
Centre's important. I'm 5'7". I'm not going to get any goals. Yeah.
I like centre too.
Yeah. It's good fun. The people though, I love the people that I play with, and I think that if you find sports or situations or environments where good people, I don't know, it might be something, I might be crucified for saying this, but like a readers book club or something, right? Or like, I don't know, forum for something or an investment, like whatever, right? You're going to get there. There's going to be people there that are feeling just like you, like, oh, I don't know if I want to go. But then you get there and you realise there's some brilliant people because it brings them together.
Yes.
Whereas when you're just out in the open environment, like in the world, they're pretty few and far between to find really good quality people, I think, which I mean is a kind of a product of the world, but not so much them, but the product of what surrounds us and what's on our phones and things. But netball. Yeah. Outside of that, I work. Kids, netball, work.
That's it, yeah.
The gym, I go to the gym a fair bit, less than I would like to at the moment, but I've had to sacrifice a bit for the business. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
With your background and everything that's happened to you, has that had an influence on your values and your beliefs? Like what? Yeah,
it's made me, it's interesting, it's a really hot topic in my mind at the moment, actually. I've found that so who I am as a person is I can stand in the face of something really tough and be fine. So it takes a lot of pressure for me to feel like I'm cracking at the start a little bit or a little bit shaky. And it takes a lot for me to crack or to break under pressure. And that's because I lived in such a volatile area in my childhood, and I got so used to looking after myself and getting used to this trauma and this situation. I would get up late, put on clothes that weren't really school clothes, and hand-me-down stuff, so I get bullied for those. I had red hair. My name's Naaman. I was pushing uphill. The street that I was in, they used to throw bottles and stuff at me and mouth off to me and stuff when I was going to school. I'd catch the bus, get to school, be late. Teacher wouldn't really like me half the time because I was a misfit. Then I'd finish up and I'd walk home. Everyone else got picked up. I'd walk home. I'd get back home. Then the neighbourhood would all be saying stuff again. They're like, oh, Naaman, this and that. And then I'd get back to Mum, who was talking absolutely no sense at all. It was just like screaming and yelling. And then I wouldn't even get into bed until like 10, 11 o'clock. I'm only 12, 13 at this time, or younger. And then she'd be yelling and like telling me all sorts of, it wasn't lucid. It was all sorts of stuff. And kept me up all night saying all sorts of things that would just scare me and confuse me. And I didn't understand as a little. It was just my mum to me. So it was like a normal, but it's not normal. So what I'm getting at is that made me really tough. And I can credit a lot of the success so far in my career and in my life because I haven't ever given up. I've always said to my clients, I might not be the smartest person. I might not be the most experience, but I'll work harder than anyone. I promise you that. I promise you that. If something needs doing, I'll stay up until 1 a.m. and fix it if I need to. I'll get it done no matter what it is because I've had to my whole life. And yeah, but the bad side of that, the negative side of that, is that I've lacked quite a lot of empathy. And I've realised that as I'm getting older, is that I struggle because I'll have someone else that I care